Welcome back to the Forex Fortress, and plenty to talk about today. So much going on across the lands, and let's start off with good old Dixie as usual, wasting no more time. So with that said, of course, we did see what looks to be the big bad breakdown on the weekly that happened as early as last Friday, below that $92 region, of which that is going to initiate targets down on the monthly, down to our 200 exponential average right here, of which we have just brushed on in the early morning hours. It looks like of a low of 91.10, and that 200 is actually 90.95. So very interesting right there. I do still think that it probably does come down for a full-on swipe of it, but this is the next sort of bounce territory that I'd be looking at least for a medium-term time frame bounce. So with that in mind, going down to the daily, do we see any sort of a bounce in progress right now? No, I don't look at this as a bounce. I look at this as a little bit of a pullback, a little bit of profit taking before getting ready for another plunge. So with that in mind, I imagine that, well, actually, let's go down to the very low-term time frames. Yeah, this pullback probably does play out a little bit more to the upside, maybe all the way back up to about 91.60-ish region. Maybe even got some bullish divergence here as well. Actually, nope, as we do not have higher lows on 4-hour RSI. So even then, but I would essentially be looking for this one to keel back on over and fulfill that next move to the downside, which is going to have some more long-term upside biases for all of the major assets that trade against US dollars. So let's start off with good old Aussie dollar right here, going straight down the list. We did hit our 73.5 target from yesterday that we had on Twitch, and I guess we're not technically exactly down there just yet, but 73.45 is what I'd be looking towards. Still kind of hold on to that one. Let's go into the daily right on over here, and what do we see? Yep, I'd be looking for a little bit of a bounce, just slightly lower at 73.40, 73.40 that is, once again, and weekly and monthly both look bullish to me. So long term, I would remain bullish on it, but short term, yes, still a little bit more downside, but we pretty much have already seen that move that we saw initiated from yesterday's analysis. Moving on to CAD dollar over here, what do we got? Well, let's do the same thing. And yes, we have the same move. We set a little bit of short term downside here as well. I did say down to 77 even, of which we are in progress of that right now as well. A little bit of bearish divergence on the 4-hour currently forming, and we do have potential jewel sell signal on the 4-hour also potentially going to be initiated, although I do want to see the curvature on the next tick right there. So yes, I would still say short term down here a little bit more, 77 even. I'm curious what the daily looks like as well. Daily still more or less bullish to me. But a little bit of a short-term pullback. Weekly, same thing, and monthly, all same thing, essentially. So short-term, a little bit of downside. Still long-term, though, fine, good, all good, at least. Anyways, on to Swiss franc dollar. What do we have over here? And let's go back down. Well, actually, we're already here on the monthly. Good. It's just full of surprise right now. Pretty fucking good. I would say long-term, gunning for about 112.75. This does look like a big bad breakout and a very important one. Do you want to say something on the mic before you leave?
Goodbye.
Goodbye. That was very polite of you, sir. Oh, here she comes. Hold on. Here we go. Come on, do it.
Bullsack.
Yeah, you grab that BBC-sized microphone now, don't you, girl? Anyways, okay, so that's my girlfriend. Anyways, what do we see on the 4-hour right here? I do think that yesterday we set a little bit of a short-term time frame pullback. I probably was looking a little bit lower at 110.75 region. Obviously not going to get there right now. Would I still be holding on to that before further tries to the upside? I don't know about that. This one is bullish on daily, weekly, monthly, so I wouldn't really fuck around with the low-term time frames here. This one very likely to move upwards and onwards from this region. Let's see, what would the next projected range be? Yeah, about 112 and a quarter would be the next weekly target, and the next monthly target's going to be about just under 113 it looks like. Euro pound, what do we see over here? We got, well, monthly looking like wants to pop back up as well. 4-hour nice and up and at 'em as well. And what about daily? We did say yesterday, I believe, move back up to about 90 and a quarter. Well, we got that. And we exceeded that. So, I probably would look for a little bit of a short-term pullback here, back down to that same 90 and a quarter level. But the bias, at least for the for the medium and higher term timeframes, will be more upside into the, probably into the rest of the week, somewhere just below about 91 cents. So extremely short-term, back down to that same target that we had from yesterday, and then I'll look for some more upside on that. Hey, finally, actually getting that one for fucking once. Jesus Christ. Anyways, euro dollar over here. There it is. There's your fucking move towards 120. I absolutely hate it. This is the worst day of my life. And every day I look at the exchange rate and it's just like, motherfucker. But fair enough. At the end of the day, that weekly target of 121 looks very likely to get hit. Monthly targets of about 123, likely, very much in motion as well. What about even the lower term timeframes? Probably short term timeframe pullback. Probably does pull back somewhere around 120 even, but I'd be looking for a bounce there on the first pass at the very least. In the long term, I'm still very much bullish. Moving on to yen dollar over here, or yen dollar. That's not correct. Yen or pound yen is what I mean to say. I forget what we said on this one yesterday. I do believe yesterday I was actually looking for a move to the downside. And instead, we didn't necessarily get that. Actually, just continue to play out this nice little trendy behavior. However, I would look for this one to come a little bit further down on this run, perhaps somewhere down around 139, spot 1.5. Weekly and monthly are a little bit in limbo here, so I do want to hold off on saying anything for the long term right now. I still do essentially look at this as one massive descending triangle, so it likely does break down over time. But as it is right now, I'd actually be looking for this one to come a little bit lower and then probably bounce somewhere right around here. Moving on to pound dollar, what do we see? Ooh, nice and down. That's right, you little girthy fuck you. I'd actually be looking for this one to trade a little bit lower. In fact, down to about 132.5. I believe our target from yesterday was 133.5, which is obviously being hit. So now I'd actually extend that a little bit further south. So downside a little bit more on this one, and a clear rejection actually on the weekly as it is thus far. What about the monthly? Monthly, no call here. No call for now. Yen dollar, what do we see? We got that backfill that we spoke about yesterday, but no, we're overshooting the target now. I'd probably extend targets to the downside down to the 377 right here at 95.30ish region. I believe yesterday we had a target at 95.65 that did get hit, now exceeded, so I'd extend that a little bit more. And yes, I would be looking for a bounce somewhere in the low 95 region, and then we'll come back to it maybe on Friday. Yeah, weekly shows right at 95 as well, so I would be looking at that as a nice pivot, but this one can very easily turn around long term if it wants to, which I would be very, 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 very bearish if it does come back down below last month's low. Now, obviously, it's very much ahead of that area right now, but I do want to kind of postulate areas of potential caution. Nasdaq, what do we? New all-time highs, baby. We don't need any analysis on this shit. New all-time highs, and I'd be looking for new all-time highs to be printed actually today. Again, do you have any specific targets for this one? Not really. I believe we did an extension a few days ago, and it was showing, we hit the 1 spot 414. Okay, not bad. I wish I would have seen that earlier. Next major target's gonna be the 2 spot right here at just above 13,150-ish region. So long term, I would be looking for that area, but that's a long term analysis there, not today. And that probably brings me up to my next point. Actually, let's get on to gold here first. So we did get the bounce at 1750 that we spoke about on the gold. And what did we say yesterday on the on the Twitch stream? Probably somewhere around 1830 to 1840-ish region, or sorry, somewhere around 1840 to 1850-ish region, of which looks like we got all the way up to about 1832.5. Close enough is close enough in this regard. I think that we might have just found our next local high here. Then again, looking at the weekly, probably don't want to judge this book too early here just yet. But my point is that, I'd be looking for it to essentially come back down, actually. I'm not necessarily convinced that this is the low on the monthlies, but at least for now on the weekly, probably bounce does play out over the next couple weeks. And I would leave you with on gold, as long as it's below about 1860 on a weekly closure, I am essentially just looking for more downside, more bearishness, with the next proverbial target somewhere around just below $1,700. So fair enough on that one. The next one I want to get to is the cone, the big cone, the one cone to rule them all, which we'll get into right now. And fuck, that reminds me, I forgot to talk about about the sale going on for all the programs. But you already know I've been talking about this for a week now, so I don't need to show myself right here. But there you go, it's the last day for that. So I forgot to mention it in this morning's video, and I think I forgot even yesterday as well. It's like, Jesus Christ, man, I'm the worst person to work with. But yes, everything is on sale. The fucking rigmarole. It's on Crown Chain application, blah 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 blah. All right, let's talk about some fun stuff right here. Okay, so Bitcoin, in this morning's video, I really want to reference this for a second here, because I got a few interesting messages on Discord and in the comment section, and it reminds me to say that, or some people are saying like, Crown's wrong again, or whatever the fuck it is, and I just want to say that when we're looking at these analyses, don't look for a fucking like a multi-week long analysis to play in the next 2 hours. It needs to be looked at in the specific time frame that we're looking at, right? We did speak about in this morning's video that if Bitcoin did break above the short-term range to the upside, which was right at this 18,007, 18,008 region right here, that we would be looking for a move towards 19,250-ish region. Now, yes, I was biased to the downside. That's my more medium-term look on this one, and I still retain that. And actually, I think that we're actually seeing that exactly right here, right now, to be fair. So with that in mind, I'd be looking for maybe an extremely short-term time frame bounce off this level right here. However, just kind of analyzing the 12-hour and following up on this one, I do think that we will have another swipe down, probably sometime, probably sometime over this next day and a half or whatever it ends up being, somewhere down around the the mid 1800-ish region. Once again, anywhere between the 21 and the 10 simple right here would look about right. Does it play out another bounce from that region? I would imagine likely does try to bounce again, but the more time that it spends below 19,250, the more and more that I do believe that we actually will see an official gap fill all the way down to the low $17,000 region. So I still have my eyes down around here, probably sometime over the next week or two, if I had to guess, but I don't really put too much, I just don't really think you can like time things like that to begin with. But, just looking at this overall formation right here, somewhere around there would be about fine. And I'd still be going level by level at the end of the day. And they do actually correlate incredibly well with all of our major fibs here. Obviously, the next one is going to be at 18,250. That's not our next one, because our next one is right here at 18,7. That's a 786 right here. So as long as we're above there, still plays a little bit of a range between 18,7 and 19,250-ish region. However, the second that we actually break this region right here, I would look for another try down to the 618, which is also going to be on the 12-hour supports as well. I would be looking for another short-term bounce right there again as well. I don't think that there's any like real rush to get into position right now. What the fuck times? Oh my god, man, it's almost 3. What the hell? But I would essentially look for this bounce, if it does come to this level, to likely peter out over time as well, and then we'll probably gun for the 382. That's a very common fib target when the 786 does fail in this sort of regard. Obviously, we could flip this around. You basically get the same sort of interplay between them, and in this case right here, gonna likely take its time. But the more time that Bitcoin does spend below 19,250, the more and more likely it does become that Bitcoin does come down and fill the gap somewhere around about slow $17,000 region, playing off of all of these areas on the downside. The 618, which is also correlated with our last major breakout from this region right here, and then of course the 0.5, and then we got the 382. So that's going to be 18,250, 17,9, and 17,5, and then we got 17,2 right here, and then the prior base where the 200 simple and 200 exponential moving average are coming in at current price action. The reason why this is also relevant is because when we go back onto the higher term timeframes, and I'll kind of leave it off after this. Let's go to my secondary charts. The reason why this is relevant is because, once again, on the monthly, this is the topside trailing band, and usually you are going to come down and test somewhere around it. Could you make the argument that we've already come down far enough to constitute that as a test? Yeah, actually, you could actually, on a monthly, because realistically, this is about $1,000 away right now. Our current low is 18.1, and the topside trailing band is about 17.2. Obviously, that will rise if Bitcoin rises over time as well. So, fair enough. With that in mind, I do still think that it's a little more likely that we do come back down to that area, just because we do have that CME gap right around here. And if I even look at it just on a wick-to-wick basis, I'm probably looking at it, anywhere between the top side of this wick right here and wherever the 20 simple moving average is on the daily for CMEs, and that's kind of where I'm looking for, and to constitute that a gap fill anywhere within that range, which is actually going to rapidly kind of rise up to meet itself, maybe over the next couple of days here, or I guess we only got a couple of days left in this week, so probably early next week if I had to guess. However, that would be the next, potentially even long-term position that I'd be interested in, because that read right there that we just saw in the monthly makes me bullish, into the month of December, which we're in right now, and then of course January and February as well. So everything's kind of like a setup here, and I want to be very specific that while I am looking for a little bit of short-term downside here, that does not mean that I am in any way, shape, or form bearish. I'm like getting to fucking embarrassing levels of bullishness. Okay, maybe not that much. Like, I see people talking about fucking Bitcoin targets to like 200,000 or a million or whatever the hell. Who knows? Maybe that does happen over time. But as a trader, I want to focus on something that's a little bit more proximal, right? Not like an investor's timeline of looking 5, 10, 20 years down the road. That's too fucking long. Anyways, as it stands right now, all those plays kind of moving in with each other. Do we see anything on momentum oscillators that I want to follow up on as well? 4-hour Stochs still nice and healthily down at about 3-hour. flip-flopping around a bit. 2 hour actually popping up, and hourly is flip-flopping down as well. Yeah, when we do see all of those kind of bifurcated with each other, I'd essentially just look for the range to emerge. So, do I think that Bitcoin's going to have a threat to actually break out, to 20,000 today or down below like 16,000 today? No, I think very unlikely. I think that we're mostly just going to play within this region right here, probably fill out some space to the downside. But as long as it's nice and steady, as long as it, plays off these lovely levels here, I'd look at that as more or less constructive behavior, setting up for a bigger breakout probably sometime later this month. So with that said, I'm actually going to log on to Twitch probably after this. So we'll see if you see me live over there, then we've gone and done it. If not, then we haven't. So that's it. I'm going to be leaving. I'll sign off with that. I want to wish you the best of us once again. Take care, and until next time.